What's up guys, Jake with TN Tactical coming with another special video. Today I've got something for you that we've not really done too many of on the channel. I have got the Firefield Rapid Fire 4 to 16 scope. This was actually sent out to us by Firefield. Much appreciated guys, we really do appreciate it. Is this considered LPVO? I don't think so. It's a 4 to 16 scope. Is that what, like mid PVO or high PVO, HPVO? I don't know. You guys tell me, because I don't do a lot of scope reviews on the channel, and mainly that's because I don't really usually have a large space to shoot those super long distances to check for the things that you need to check for with longer, larger magnification scopes. Regardless, they reached out, they said, hey, we want to send you one of these. Which one do you want? I kind of went with the mid-tier one. I chose to go with the 4 to 16 because I can shoot out to about 120 yards here. And I was curious to see just how this would do on my my little setup here. This, well, I'll be honest with you, it's a Radical Arms budget-friendly AR-15. Today we're going to go over all the specs and features of this particular scope, and also zero it, of course. And then we're going to actually see how accurate it can be at 120 yards, even on a El Cheapo little AR-15 like this. 120 yards isn't exactly that far away, so it shouldn't really be a problem. I know what you guys are thinking. Are we going to drop test this? Are we going to beat this against a tree of damnation? The answer is no. Scopes, any scope, they're not really meant to take a beating that hard like we typically do on our torture test. That being said though, we will do the water bottle test where we smack it really well after we zero it to see if it, well, honestly see if it loses zero, which will be kind of interesting because this is supposed to be a budget friendly option in the larger magnification scopes world, which, to be honest, this is my first time getting tickets to the bigger scope world, so we're going to see how this does for me, someone who has a little experience with larger magnified optics. Let's see how she does. Now I'm using my 10 round magazine here, okay, YouTube, using 10 round magazines, not the forbidden number, okay, please. So going over all the specs and features of the Rapid Fire 4 to 16, this is actually the most budget-friendly, higher power optic I've seen. This comes in roughly under $150. Now, that being said, it is second focal plane, meaning that as you zoom in, your reticle does not change in size or shape, for that matter, as you get in deeper. Some people prefer first focal plane, others prefer second. I'm kind of mixed on it. I don't really have a preference at this point. My understanding is where it is second focal plane, it does make it a little bit more budget friendly. Now, like most higher power optics, this does have lots of fine tuning for your elevation and windage. You'll actually see here, and they label it on the caps for you, that it gets 1/10 mil adjustments, not MOA. These are mil adjustments. This is military, millimeter, I don't know, math is hard, I don't know where it comes from. Essentially each click here is 1/10 of a mil, so it's going to be like, what's it say here? Okay, using the mil reticle yards, you're looking at 0.36 inches per click at 100 yards. Pretty good tuning. I know there's probably other optics that have finer tuning than that. For me, what I'm doing out here, my purpose and the price point that's at, I'm okay with that. For all you wrong-eyed people out there, you've got your diopter adjustment here. So if your curvature is all fucked up because of playing too much Virtual Boy as a kid, you can use this to fix that. In addition, they do have a parallax dial here to adjust your parallax. What they've done here is they've labeled the side here for you at different common distances, again yards because this is America, and you can actually use that as a quick reference to get your reticle in focus with whatever you're looking at a certain distance. Of course, if you're not exactly sure, you can just kind of mess with the dial until you roughly get it focused as best as you can just by eyeballing it. One cool thing about this, just like other higher power optics, this one does feature the turrets here where once you get zeroed nicely, you can unscrew the cap here and you can reset your turret number so that way they save your absolute zero, your actual zero, in case, you know, you gotta make adjustments. Because let's be honest, when you're shooting long distance, a lot of times you have to dope it in. You pull these turrets up and they unlock to allow you to do that. And then you push it back down, locked, good to go. I do like that they also throw a little throw lever in there for you, no pun intended. So that's very nice. A lot of other companies will actually charge you extra for that little piece of metal. in some cases plastic, God forbid. So it sits very nicely on here. You'll notice that in the very front here, it's just got a little bit, like a 1/4 inch there of room from where it hits the pick rail. It does come with the actual scope rings, but if you want, you can get other aftermarket scope rings. If you want this to sit a little bit higher, it does take your standard 30mm scope rings, which I know there's a couple different sizes, but for this kind of optic, it's pretty typical. Now there's no illumination built in, there's no battery somewhere and you can have the optic light up for you. This is just a standard plain Jane classic Call of Duty scope. Nothing lights up inside, so if it's dark outside, you can't use it. Well, I guess you could use it, it's just be a lot harder. We're going to shoot our steel targets at roughly about 120 yards. And then we're going to see if it holds zero after properly smacking it around with the water bottle. Hey guys, TN Tactical here. Yeah, I'm doing the classic brass facts voiceover. Yeah, we lost the audio for this, which really sucks. But essentially, I'll summarize it for you. We did in fact get zeroed at 120 yards, shooting uphill at some steel targets that are about 8 inches in diameter. After that, we went ahead and proceeded with the water ball baiting test. Again, no audio, but you can see it right there. We're basically smacking the piss out as much as we can, well, I guess as hard as you can with a water bottle. After that, we then followed up here with shooting again at 120 yards at our 8-inch steel targets, and we found that it did not lose zero one single bit. And yes, again, no audio, so you really can't even hear me hitting the gongs, but I do have some footage here with my iPhone rigged up and looking through the scope, so you can at least enjoy that, and I think it looks pretty cool too. Well, cooler than what you saw just now. So there is that for you to kind of prove that it did in fact keep it zero for what it's worth. All right, so my thoughts on the Firefield Rapid Fire 4-16. I think it's freaking awesome. I'm not going to go in this video and talk about the color aperture stuff that happens at long distance where color tends to split apart and stuff like that. I don't really have the range or the experience to really comment on that. But from what I can tell, just again, average everyday dude, not some kind of special forces operator or anything, just an average dude that likes to shoot on his land. This scope is freaking awesome. We have it zeroed at 120 yards. Can you do further than that? Yes, obviously you can. And I was shooting at an 8-inch steel plate at 120 yards, nailing it every single time. And that was after beating it with the freaking water bottle, because, you know, any time you knock this around just slightly, that could affect your zero. I'm happy to report that this zero is not affected at all by that. Scopes like this, they're not really made for any kind of rugged, abusive stuff like that, unless it's like an ACOG. It's a different matter. It's $150-ish. There may or may not be a link somewhere in the description. It's not got like Japanese glass, and the reticle's pretty basic, and everything just kind of is your standard issue stuff. It's the like bare minimum stuff that you would need at shooting any kind of long distance, but that's really all you need. It holds zero, which is important. It's consistent. It checks all the boxes for any kind of long distance shooting. It holds zero. I'd love to do longer range stuff like this. Ideally, I'd like to clear out more of my land here. We have about 20 acres. I'd like to clear out more land to put longer distance shooting lanes, because I can go up to about 400 yards with the lay of the land. I like this thing. Yeah, you can spend more money if you want to on some of the more common and well-known brands. In fact, this one's actually categorized as airsoft on Amazon. Clearly, it can do more than just airsoft. I'm pretty sure they had to categorize it as airsoft, but clearly this is a good optic. Yeah, you can spend more money. You can spend thousands of dollars on the better name brand stuff, but for me, for my purposes, for trying to save some money and get some kind of glass that can shoot at a distance accurately and consistently, I mean, this is all I really need. I like it, and I think if you're looking to get a budget-friendly, high-power optic too, I think you'll like it too. Guys, that's going to wrap today. If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. What do you think about the Firefield 4x16 Rapid Fire? Love to hear from you. We will see you next time. All right, so going over the specs. Oh shit, I need a fucking microphone. Oh boy, hang on. I got too excited too soon, Junior.